in their emergency kit should be carrying a pair of shoe pullers, and this is a shoe puller and a spreader. And I've found so many people whose horses sprung a shoe and they're trying to get the shoe off with a big screwdriver and a pair of fencing pliers, and it doesn't work. They're inappropriate tools for removing a shoe. Whereas a pair of these are an essential item to get you out of trouble. This has got grips on the side of it, so if a horse actually twists the shoe somewhere, you can put this across the heels and spread that shoe out and make it comfortable for the horse. In the instance where you need to take that shoe off because it's half sprung, because the horse has stepped on one side or the other, or caught the heel of the shoe in the fence, you can actually cut the nail clinches off and then get this shoe puller underneath there and lever the shoe off correctly without doing any real damage to the hoof. You need a good sole knife. These are available in many styles. The one knife I really prefer is the loop knife. It's angled and shaped to fit very easily into a normal sole shape. It's got a long handle and a short blade, so you can control the movement of it quite accurately and very safely when you're using it. The next knife I use is a drop blade single-sided knife. It's got a longer blade and a longer handle, but it's made of very good steel, and the shape of the dropped blade allows you to follow the contour of a sole quite accurately and very safely. All these knives need to be sharpened, and this is quite easy. Stroke the inside edge lightly that way, back towards you, and get in around the loop there to sharpen that little loop, the little hook in there. And we leave the back side of this knife flat down there. Don't ever bevel that. This one here is the same. Just sharpen the inside edge and leave that outside edge flat. With the loop knife, once again, you just sharpen the inside edge, just this way, and leave that outside edge there flat. In cases where the sole is too hard to take this out, you've got two options. You can either soak your horse's hoof and get it soft, or if you haven't got that time, then you've still got to get the sole out. I use a sole chisel that I make up using the forge and the anvil, and it's a blade, the same curved blade as the sole knife, but we hit it with a hammer to actually take that sole out. It can be used either right-handed or left-handed because it's got a double end on it. And with the left hand, you put it on the sole of the hoof and hit it with a hammer to chisel out around the sole of the hoof. Right-handed, you use the other end and do the same thing and chisel out the sole of the hoof. And it's contoured so that it kicks back out of the sole. So it's very, very safe to use, but very effective on a hard-soled hoof. Next, you need a pair of nippers, but they need to be very thin through the cutting edge through here. The cheaper ones are very thick through there and they're very difficult to use. And the cheap ones are also very narrow through here. They're not wide enough to get a good bite. Okay? And they're used either one-handed or two-handed to go around and trim the hoof wall down. These come in many different types as well. And a good addition to that, if you're using it just one-handed, it becomes a little difficult to keep opening this blade up. There's a little thing you can get which is a return spring which fits in there. It doesn't fit all the nippers, but it'll fit most of them. And simply it just means that you can use this very one-handed because it opens up the whole time. As soon as you let it go, it opens up. And they're very, very handy to use on smaller horses' feet, foal feet. In addition to all of that, you must use a good rasp. A blunt rasp, you'll make lots of mistakes with it. The sharper your rasp is and the better your rasp is, the more accurate you're going to be. You should never have to push a rasp in. Virtually the weight of the rasp should do the job. If you've got to push it, you're going to end up getting unlevel, and it's very important to get the level of that hoof, whether you're trimming it for barefooting or trimming it for shoe preparation. That surface must be level and flat. And so if your rasp is sharp, you can virtually just glide it over your hoof, one-handed or very lightly with two hands. In most cases with Clydesdales, where the hoof wall can be anything up to an inch thick, it's very difficult to get these in there, especially in the summertime, and have enough strength to trim that hoof wall down. We go for a double action pair of hoof nippers, and as you can see, these can get a lot of pressure. I've extended the handles on these and made them very strong, because the initial handles, I bent them. They weren't adequate for the job. So now they've got a piece of 1/2 inch water pipe extended on the handles, and they're very, very easy to cut down a big Clydesdale hoof. You'll see through here, you can cut a lot more depth of hoof also in one grab.